the good, the bad, and the legend. Some of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball have experienced all three, rising as beloved superstars, falling as villains, and cementing their legacy as legends. Here are the top 4 players who have gone through it all. Starting off, we have the glorious king, LeBron James. Playing 20-plus years in the league is like an average Joe working till he's 90. And when a player lasts that long, evolution is
inevitable.
On the 2nd of February 2025, 40-year-old LeBron James got a 30-point triple-double against the Knicks. This made him the oldest player to ever record a 30-point triple-double. The second oldest player was Kobe Bryant at 36 years old, a 4-year difference. No player in NBA history has ever performed good at 40, let alone at LeBron's current level. The King is the oldest player in the NBA right now, and the man is still getting some MVP nods. It's safe to say, Lakers LeBron is a beast. And that's why he's one of the most loved players right now. From bringing a chip to the Lakers, to breaking the all-time points record, to bringing home the Olympic gold medal for Team USA, to being the league's own resident unk, this old man is nothing short of a hero. But it wasn't always like this. Coming into the league, LeBron James was called the Chosen One. That nickname is so powerful that people only give it to fictional characters. But LeBron being called that wasn't too far-fetched. This man came straight out of high school and put grown men on their knees, broke records every other Tuesday, and became the face of the league all in his first few years. If that's not close to fictional, I don't know what is. LeBron had it all. The love, the support, and recognition, but everything changed when he took his talents to South Beach. Even Bill Laimbeer never had his jersey burned, and he was an actual psychopath. LeBron going to the Miami Heat was, at the time, the most hated move in NBA history, which in turn made him the most hated player in the league. And he embraced the hate. LeBron James became a villain, and the league was his domain. He got back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back finals MVPs, and back-to-back championships. Man even looked like a villain too. LeBron had the league in a chokehold, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. But LeBron started to grow tired of being hated, and the Heat were starting to lose their steam. So he made another move, one even more shocking than the last. He went home. You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. LeBron James has already done both, but it wasn't the end. When LeBron went back to the Cavs in 2014, it was a bag of mixed receptions. Some were glad the prodigal son returned, others thought he was just trying to save face. Either way, it wasn't long before everyone started to love him again. LeBron went from being the villain to the underdog. And in 2016, they faced their biggest challenge yet, facing off against a 73-win team that had already beat them in the finals and were up 3-1. But somehow, by some divine intervention, 3 games later, LeBron James was holding up the Cleveland Cavaliers' first and only championship. And in LeBron's own words,
that one right there made me the greatest player of all time. That's what I felt. Reasons. I was super ecstatic to win one for Cleveland because of the 52-year drought. like I was ecstatic. Like obviously I showed that the first wave of emotion was when y'all everyone saw me crying. Like that was all for 52 years of everything in sports going on in Cleveland. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
That was the day LeBron James became a legend. The man is really the chosen one. Up next, we have a player with a very similar evolution to LeBron, Kevin Durant. KD on the Suns is the perfect definition of a good player. One of the few old heads in the NBA still performing at a high level, helped bring a gold medal to America, no burner accounts, and is a generally loved player. But just like LeBron, KD was the most hated man in the league at one point. This man went from superstar to sniper to snake. Imagine winning 2 championships and 2 Finals MVP awards and still being the most hated player on the face of the earth. That was the life of KD, and with good reason too.
What? God, please, no! 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 No!
That's how most of the NBA felt about KD requesting a trade and going to the Golden State Warriors. And that's why they hated him. The Warriors were a 73-win team, went to the finals twice, and they had 2 of the best shooters in NBA history. And then you add Kevin freaking Durant? It just wasn't fair. People hated his guts so much, they were cheering when he got injured in the finals.
Style down the other end, and Durant grabbing that right leg. It's the right calf that put him out.
He was the villain, the man who ruined basketball for everyone. And the burner accounts thing definitely didn't help. But just a few years before this, the man was legendary. When Kevin Durant came into the league, his impact was instant. Kevin Durant ended his rookie season as the Rookie of the Year and one of the only 3 teenagers in NBA history to average 20 points per game. The other 2 being LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. But KD wasn't just a great player. He was a once-in-a-generation talent, the original unicorn. And his career in OKC was insane. 6 All-Star appearances, youngest player to win a scoring title in the history of the NBA, 4 consecutive scoring titles, and a trip to the finals. Let's not forget the tweet that made him a legend on Twitter. But the moment that really cemented him as a legend was when he won the 2014 MVP award.
You made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.
Man, that speech still hits to this day. But as crazy as Kevin Durant's evolution was, it was still nowhere as messy as his former teammate, Russell Westbrook. Westbrook's career was as turbulent as his play style. Yet, through all the highs and lows, the good still outweighed the bad. Since leaving OKC, Westbrook hasn't really found a home anywhere. Brody has been traded 5 times, making him one of just 3 MVPs in the last 20 years to play for 6 teams alongside Shaq and D. Rose. And with each trade, his effectiveness on teams greatly diminished. But one team stood out as his best stop after leaving OKC, the Washington Wizards. Sure, he had a higher point per game average the year before in Houston, but Washington was the last time Russ truly felt like Russ. It was the last place he averaged a triple-double for the season. It was where he broke Oscar Robertson's record for the most triple-doubles ever. And that was the last time the Wizards made the playoffs. Yeah, they weren't always the worst team in NBA history. Brody was on the rise again, but he had no idea it was all about to come crashing down. When the Lakers announced they were bringing in Russell Westbrook, Lakers fans had a lot of concerns. Russ was an extremely ball-dominant player, but so was LeBron. The Lakers needed defense, but Russ wasn't known for that. They needed depth, but instead, they committed $90 million to Westbrook, making him the highest paid player in the NBA at the time. From the start, the fit was sketchy. But hey, it was Russell Beastbrook. The triple-double machine, the tornado in sneakers, the... Oh.
And I think he's really got a Westbrook for some reason. Double.
Oh, God. Never in NBA history was there a player hated by his own team as much as Russ was hated by the Lakers. From the bricks, to the turnovers, to the atrocious defense, to his interesting fashion choices, Lakers fans could just not handle it. And it didn't help that Russ didn't really seem to care. Imagine Lakers fans down bad, begging the basketball gods for a playoff spot, watching AD fall apart like a Jenga tower, and an aging LeBron carrying the team on his back like a UPS worker during the holidays. And then there's Russ.
Wrong what we can be. And we just got to keep stacking, keep building, keep doing things the right way. Get real greedy, man. Real greedy. Get greedy, man. We got on three.
What?
And after the team missed the playoffs, it was official. Russ was public enemy number one. People chanted Westbrook so much that kids started calling Russ's son Westbrook at school. Dang, those kids went lower than the Wizards. But the reason Russ's downfall with the Lakers was shocking was because at one point, he was literally on top of the NBA. Here's a fact for you. Russell Westbrook is the only player in NBA history to average a triple-double in a season. More than once. Another fact, he did it 4 times. Another fact, he did it 3 seasons in a row. OKC Russ was absolutely unstoppable. And when you add 2 scoring titles, a trip to the finals, and a freaking MVP, you get one of the greatest players to ever play for the Thunder and one of the greatest point guards in NBA history. Westbrook? More like Bestbrook. Yeah, I know, that was kind of foul. Speaking of foul, James Harden is one of the most iconic players in recent NBA history. The dude's beard is more memorable than some NBA players. But even more memorable is his career, and for not so good reasons. James Harden spent 3 seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and in those 3 seasons, he wasn't the beard we know and love. He was more like a Scruff. A lot of people called the old OKC squad a trio, but in reality, it was more like KD and Russ as the duo, with James Harden playing the third wheel. But he was an elite third wheel. So good, in fact, that he won the 6th Man of the Year and helped push OKC to the NBA Finals. But that was about it. He was a very good player, but before he had the chance to become great, he was traded away. OKC was the last team to trade James Harden willingly. Since then, he's demanded a trade from every single team he's played for, sometimes doing some wild stuff just to force his way out, basically ruining the teams that gave so much to get him. This pattern has earned him a reputation as a quitter and a diva. But it was especially worse in Philadelphia. Philly James Harden was solid in the regular season, putting up good numbers and even winning an assist title. But when it came to the playoffs, he just never clicked. And by never clicked, I mean he sucked 90% of the time, and the Sixers still couldn't make it past the second round. And if that wasn't bad enough, he started a full-blown feud with Sixers owner Daryl Morey. It all happened when Morey convinced Harden to take a pay cut for the good of the team. with the promise of a max contract later. But when the time came, Morey didn't deliver, and Harden didn't handle that well.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that is a part of the world.
Eventually, Harden got his way and was traded to the Clippers. But at this point, no NBA fan wants James Harden on their team. The thing is, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when the beard was one of the most valuable assets in the NBA. There are very few players in NBA history that were better scorers than prime James Harden. During the 2018-2019 season, James Harden averaged 36.1 points per game. Only 2 other players in NBA history have averaged more than him in a season: Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain. So, the greatest player of all time and the freak of nature who scored 100 points in a game. James Harden was a legitimate bucket. And while some people may disagree with the way he got those buckets, he got buckets regardless. Add 3 scoring titles, an MVP award, and a season scoring average that is the highest in 40 years and counting, and you get one of the best scorers in NBA history. And if not for the 1 in a trillion chance of the Rockets missing 27 straight threes in Game 7 of the conference finals against the Warriors, James Harden might have a championship right now. So there you have it. 4 top hoopers in the NBA who are all legends in their own respect. Let me know your thoughts on this one below. I'm thinking I'm gonna make it a series and want to hear who you think I should include. As always, stay hoopin'.